Hello, and welcome to another episode of the No Huddle Football Podcast. We are now in the playoff edition. As the regular season has wrapped up, the playoff brackets are set, which is where we're going to start today. We're going to go through all of this week's games, and we're going to forecast the bracket for the Super Bowl this year. So we'll go ahead and we will start in the AFC. We have the Ravens on a bye. We have the Bills and Steelers, Chiefs and Dolphins, Texans and Browns. Who do you have in the first round, Ryan, making it out?
Sorry. 1 second. Oh, there we go. So I don't know, the Browns Houston game is kind of a toss up. I want to say my Brownies heavy. The Texans have been obviously really surprising all year, but I will say the Browns. I will have to just commit to the Browns on that one. I just think they're just, again, defense overwhelming. I think the Dolphins are going to best the Chiefs. I do think that. I don't know why. I just do. And I definitely think the Bills are going to beat the Steelers. They don't belong. They just don't belong.
Yeah. All right. So for my first round, obviously Ravens on the bye. I have the Bills over the Steelers. Bills have kind of been on a bit of a run right now. And I want to see the Steelers get annihilated. So it's a little bit of wishful thinking as well. I have the Chiefs over the Dolphins. The fact that the Dolphins, once again, they've beat one good team all year. You're based out of Miami. You now have to go play in the 0-degree weather. I saw was the forecast there. And I thought I saw something else now that they're like in that area urging people to like stay home because it's probably gonna be like such bad weather. And so like so bad that like I'm interested I'm super interested in this game now. Like, is it gonna be like a big time snow game? Or is it just gonna be so freaking cold? People are like, can you imagine having to play in 0-degree weather? How hard the ground is, how hard the football is. No, thank you.
What if they have to flex out of the day and time?
Yeah, because I think it's already set. Like, I don't know if what can they do? Like, when can they go?
I mean, like Monday.
Is the forecast much better there on Monday? I don't
know. Like, if they're telling people to stay home, like, is it really wise to continue to play football? Like I'm just saying, because like they are people too. I don't know how
much money,
the collective bargaining. Yeah, as I said, I don't know how the collective bargaining and all that works out. But like, bro, if it's like that, and they're like telling people to stay at home, I'd be like, nah, bro, we ain't going out there.
Yeah, I'm good. But we'll see. Like, I don't know. I'm super interested to watch that game. I don't know. Do you have up when is that game right now? Is it a Saturday game or a Sunday game?
Saturday 8:15.
So Sunday or Saturday night game at that. So, geez,
it's gonna be even colder.
Even colder. You don't have the sun out or nothing.
And I don't know if you've ever been to Kansas City. It is nothing but wind.
Yeah, I've only been there once. It doesn't count because I was only there on a layover, on a flight out to Vegas, I think. So it doesn't really count.
I've been there. I've been there twice. Once for PBR when like I actually got to explore the city, and another time we went to the when I was at NASCAR. We went out to the track, and it's the reason why there's so much wind is because it's flat nothingness as far as the eye can see. So there's nothing to block the wind, right? It's like one of those states where you can like watch your dog run away, like
just run off into the distance.
There he goes.
Yeah, so I don't know. That'll be a good one. I wouldn't mind. I'd like to see the Dolphins win that game.
I really would too. That's like
I don't know if they will. And then for the Texans and Browns game, I also have the Browns. I feel like they're becoming a more and more popular pick.
Yeah, they don't look so embarrassing week to week, you know?
Yeah. But it's just like kind of the Texans, they barely got in on the last day. The Browns definitely look like a better team. Joe Flacco is red hot right now. Think about all his playoff experience versus CJ Stroud, a rookie who's done great. But, sometimes that comes into play. They always say the speed of the game gets a little bit faster in the playoffs.
Well, there's the leadership mentality of like the pressure of like literally every second counts, you know?
Yeah. exactly. And I feel like with was it Joe Flacco, like he's just gonna be a lot more calm and collected. Like I wonder how is he preparing for this? Is he like getting all like in the playoffs, or is just kind of like I was sitting on the couch like 2 months ago, so
Yeah,
it
maybe.
doesn't matter. Like there's no
Yeah,
pressure. Like no
yeah,
one, there's nothing there. I didn't go in this year as the starter. I literally came off the couch
yeah.
to fill in for this team.
Yeah, maybe
Anything is
loose is
good.
better. Loose is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will take the Browns as well. Do you want to keep going all the way through with the AFC? I think we should do that. That way it's a little easier to keep up with.
Sure.
Okay. So for your second round, then you would have Ravens, Dolphins, and Browns, and the Bills.
Easy win for the Ravens. I think Miami. Obviously, I picked Miami to win. So if they win, Ravens will beat them. Kansas City wins, Ravens will beat them. It's fine either way because they got
Yep.
they'll be in Baltimore. It's fine. Ravens are gonna win. And as for Cleveland Bills, that's gonna be a little bit tougher since it's gonna be in Buffalo.
Yep.
I would have to probably lean towards the Bills because they are, again, like you said, hot. But if the Cleveland isn't complete, like if the defense isn't defense and Joe Flacco isn't like hitting it, like they're gonna fall apart quick because they are a Frankenstein of a team offensively.
Yes. Okay, so you're going to have Ravens Bills is going to be your AFC championship. So for me, because my bracket's going to play out a little differently based off seeding, I would
Mhm.
have Ravens versus Browns and Bills versus Chiefs. And Ravens and Browns, I got to go with the Ravens at home. They've just looked too good lately.
Mhm.
It's hard to bet against them right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Bills and Chiefs, I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Bills because I just feel like the pressure is going to be so much for the Bills this year to get over the hump. They look like they were on the decline. They barely squeezed into the playoffs here right at the end.
Mhm.
And I think you're going to have your nemesis, the Chiefs, come in. And I think all the pressure is going to build. And I think it might be a little too much. And I just see Patrick Mahomes figuring out a way, going through Kelsey, Pacheco running the ball, just keeping it out of Kadarius Toney's hands. And they should be fine. So that puts you, like I said, with Ravens Bills. I have Ravens Chiefs. So who do you have making it through your AFC side of the bracket?
Still the Ravens.
Still the Ravens. Yep. That's by both of us. I just, as good as Patrick Mahomes is, as good as the Chiefs are for my bracket, just they're not good enough this year.
Yeah,
And the
not exactly.
Ravens,
Not good enough.
yep. So we agree Ravens on the AFC side. What about for the NFC side? We got 49ers as the one seed. They will have the week off. You have the Cowboys hosting the Packers, the Lions hosting the Rams, and the Bucks hosting the Eagles. Who do you have making it through to the next round?
So let's for Packers v Boys. Everything in me wants the Packers to win. Everything in me, but I think the Cowboys will win. I
Yep.
just think they will. Um, for Rams Lions, this one's a bit harder. I would say, but I'm gonna lean towards Detroit. I just I think there's way more loaded. I think Rams are great. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lions will be just fine. And as for Eagles v Bucks, the ultimate playoff rival for Tampa Bay football, I'm going to have to say Eagles. Unfortunately, it's going to be just a horrible, sloppy game. I think, and I think they're just going to win barely, but it's going to be a low-scoring, terrible game.
Yeah.
That's just what it looks like to me. Eagles have been terrible as of late. The Bucks in clutch moments
So
phone it in.
I looked it up, and I think the Eagles have lost either 5 of the last 6 or 6 of the last 7.
Something like that. Yeah. It's pretty
Like
rough.
the wheels have really fallen off there in Philadelphia.
Yeah. But
Um,
it is the Bucks.
but yeah, like against it, like if they were going against any other team other than the Bucks, I'd be like, well, they're screwed right now because they're going in the wrong. But the Bucks, we don't know what team is going to show up. Is the team from early to mid-December going to show up? Or the team from late December to early January show up? The team that beat the 2-14 Panthers 9-0. Is that Bucks team going to show up, or the one that just cruised right past the Jaguars? Which one's going to show up? We don't know.
Yeah.
So for my bracket, obviously 49ers on a bye, they make it through. Cowboys, I have the Cowboys over the Packers. They've been literally unbeatable at home this year.
Yeah.
They look like, when they're at home, they look like the best team in football.
Yeah, playing inside's pretty easy, huh?
Yeah. And then Lions, Rams. I hate this, but I think it's going to be the Rams.
Yeah.
I just am concerned it's going to be like this last game, and Dan Campbell's going to be going for it, and maybe at a time when
Doing
you
too
don't
much.
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pushing that, but that's his style. He's going to live and die by it. It's kind of like when in the NBA, I was thinking about it, where like there were certain teams, they would live and die by 3-pointers. They were going to just jack up 50 3-pointers a game, and they're going to hope that 27 of them go in, but some days 13 of them go in, and then they lose the game.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's got that high risk, high reward coaching mentality.
I think he'll get a free pass this year if he does gamble and lose. I think he'll get a free pass this year. But if they don't perform next year and get back to the playoffs, I think they're going to be pissed.
Yeah, but that's kind of what's turned the franchise around, though, is this whole.
That's why I said for one free pass, but it's like, if you keep doing this shit, man.
Yeah, it'll grow old if it isn't met with continued success, for sure.
Mm.
And then for Bucks, Eagles, I struggled to pick this game for what we were just talking about. Like, both of these teams look like they just like backed into the playoffs. Neither one looks great right now. But unfortunately, they played earlier this year. The Eagles had the Bucks number, so I'm just going to put them again over the Bucks, unfortunately.
As you wear all your memorabilia.
Hey, listen, I got to celebrate. We made it to the playoffs. Not a lot of people thought we would. I didn't even have them picked
as a division win at that. A division win, which I called.
Yep, you did. I thought them and the Saints were going to be neck and neck, and the Saints were going to have the tiebreaker, which they were neck and neck, same record. But the Bucks, through different games, they ended up with a tiebreaker. So they ended up. I was putting them right next to each other. I just thought the Saints would have the tiebreaker there. So that means for your second round, you're going to have the 49ers hosting the Eagles and the Cowboys hosting the Lions. Who do you have going through?
I think the Niners will best the Eagles. I think it'll be a high-scoring game for sure. I think that the Eagles will get it together for that one, despite it being on the road. But I still think it'll be a fun game to watch. And as for the Lions v. Boys, this is a hard one. Because I mean, either way, game's inside, right?
Yep. Either way.
I'm gonna say the Lions just because I just can't see the Cowboys in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, making it out.
Yeah, it's not the 90s.
In a conference championship.
Yeah, I can't say that out loud.
All right, so you're gonna have 49ers Lions in the championship game. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year? So I have, for my brackets, the way it worked itself out was I have basically two divisional games, 49ers and Rams, and then the Cowboys and Eagles. Since I picked two non-divisional winners to make it through. So I'm going to take the 49ers over the Rams. The 49ers just look too good. It's hard to pick against them right now. They've got everything going for them. They had that little 3-game hiccup in the middle of the year, and then they've got it right back on track since then. And then Cowboys versus Eagles. Like we said, Eagles just look very beatable. So unfortunately, I have them boys in the NFC Championship game.
Ugh.
That's the 49. We're doing a 90s throwback.
How dare you say that out loud?
But we've got on my bracket, I've got the 49ers and Cowboys. Circa 1995 here?
Bro, that's like 70s through the 90s.
Yeah.
They've been playing for a long time in the NFC Championship game.
So who do you have making it through the NFC bracket?
I'm gonna take the Niners.
Yep.
Hmm.
Me too. 49ers over the Cowboys. They're going to have to go on the road to San Francisco, and then that's where they're going to look god awful. 49ers, just too good all around. 49ers have just too many good players all around.
Mhm.
Cowboys have a lot of good players this year, but got to go with the 49ers. So we both then have Ravens, 49ers.
We both got there somehow.
We both still got there somehow. It took a little slightly different path, but we're there. Ravens, 49ers. Who do you see winning it all?
I am going to say the Ravens.
You're going Ravens.
I'm going to keep this Harbaugh train rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one caveat to the Ravens win that is also the Super Bowl logo prediction that has been right for like 4 consecutive years of like the whatever color of the team is on like one side is the winner.
The bottom, I think.
Yeah, and both teams have been accurate each year since it's been in the L's.
Is this the third or the fourth year with colors?
I think it's the 4th one.
Okay.
And everyone's been right. Everyone's been spot on. It's weird.
Yeah. So is the purple at the bottom this year?
I believe so. I can pull it up here in a second.
Okay. So is that you're basing your pick off?
No, I'm not. Well, no, I just think here's a few reasons. So I just think one, it's the experience of winning a Super Bowl with Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
The team's just super stacked. They look really good, and I think Shanahan is just going to collapse again. You know, he did it as an offensive coordinator. Maybe the moment's too big for him. I think the team's great. Don't get me wrong, but I think again, like how we talked about Flacco, the experience, of winning, like knowing what it takes to win, because the dude won against his friggin' brother, my guy. Like the emotion and like the tactics that, like it's like me versus you. Like I know all your shit. You know exactly what I'm gonna do. That is hard. Yep. That is hard.
So I have, while you're looking up the logo there, I have the 49ers going over. I just think they've been putting together a team for a while now. Like I just don't really see any holes in their game. But like you said, maybe coaching. Your guys definitely got the edge. The Ravens, Harbaugh's got the edge there. But I think the team is just too good. I think they realize like this is their peak chance right now to win it is this year. Like they're never going to be. I don't see that they're ever going to have as good of a chance as this year, because then after this year, I feel like you might. I don't know what their contract situations are, but they got to be getting close to people starting to leave and starting to want bigger contracts, and that point where the team starts falling apart. So like this is what they've been building for years. This is why, they made the Trey Lance trade to get him out of there. Is they're like, we are sculpting our team. We are ready right now to win. So they went all in on Brock Purdy, and I feel like they're going to pull it off this year.
All right, I have the logo. I'm gonna pull it up. You won't be able to see it, obviously, but I'm gonna pull it up for the viewers. Real quick, boom. So as you can see, this first one is Bengals v Rams. Bengals colors are on top, Rams are on the bottom. Victory Rams. Next one is Eagles v Chiefs. Green is on the top, red is on the bottom. Victory Chiefs. This year's Niners versus Ravens. Red's on top, purple's on bottom, therefore
Ravens. Okay, we will see if we're going to make it 3 years in a row. I remember when that came out at the beginning of the year, everyone was like, oh, if it's the color thing, is it 49ers, Ravens, or is it Chiefs, Vikings? And I knew at that point, it's not Chiefs, Vikings. So the Vikings aren't getting there.
So there's yet another caveat to this. So you know how I love to poke fun at the NFL script, so do you. It's been a thing forever, right? High school. So I came across this picture on the interwebs. It is a screenshot as if someone took a picture of the computer screen of Google on Sunday, February 11th, right after the Super Bowl. Can you guess, out of the playoff bracket, who was in there? Just randomly. Just give me 2 random out of the teams. Doesn't have to be the ones you picked. Just say teams. You might get
I
them.
would think it'd be the same too.
Chiefs versus the Lions.
Oh, you know what? I did see that the other day, but I forgot about it.
Scores 44-31 Lions. And it has the quarters, first quarter, 7-3, then 10-17 in there, and then it looks like the end, third quarter 0 points, 14 points, fourth quarter 17-10. So it's a pretty high scoring game. It even has top stories that you can read, and I believe it has a link to clips, but I mean I can't really.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that now. I saw that.
So I saved it for fun because I love. Yes, this shit's so much fun.
He said it was Lions
Chiefs
44.
Yep, and then Chiefs 31. I'll text you the thing too. I was gonna wait, but since we're talking about the logo and all that, I just want to say because it's one caveat because it definitely changes.
Yeah.
Okay. Which would be funny because since the theory came out and the NFL might be super aware of that theory, they'd be like, can't change that script.
We need to pivot. They caught onto our logo deal.
Thank you, time travelers.
Yes. So, all right. Well, there we go. And we both end up, and I think, if I remember correctly, and we'll revisit this soon, our preseason picks. Once I think probably we'll end up doing a show right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And in that one, that's where we'll wrap up all of our picks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in the beginning, I think we both had 49ers Chiefs with the 49ers going over.
Yeah, I think for NFC, that was easy Niners. And I think the Chiefs, we thought coming in, they would have been way better high. Yeah.
But so I'm sticking with my preseason. I'm going down with this ship if it does go down. 49ers. Not budging off of that.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I'm going to switch over. I'm going to change the order on you real quick here.
Okay.
From what we talked about pre-show. We had what's known as Black Monday in the NFL. And we had not a lot. I guess there wasn't a lot on Monday, but we had some coach firings. Couple surprise ones, some even coming out today.
Yeah.
So there is a total of
7
coaching vacancies. We all expected Atlanta.
Yes.
We were all calling for that all year long. Listen, as a Bijan Robinson fantasy football owner, I was calling for it all year long.
Cosign.
Get rid of the guy. Yeah. And then also from last year, from having Drake London. And being a Florida fan and watching Kyle Pitts be an absolute nothing in the NFL.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
I don't understand how you have those 3 pieces and you call the plays you call. Why were there games where Bijan Robinson wasn't used or was like the secondary or the third back? Like, why is Cordell Patterson running the ball anymore? He should be your third option, like on a special weird play, something. But you should be doing Bijan Robinson 20 to 25 touches a game. Maybe if you don't want to wear them out, put them in closer to the 17, 21 touches a game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand why there were several games where who's the back? Tyler Algier was out rushing him.
Yeah.
And then there were some games where Cordell Patterson was also out rushing him. I'm like, what is going on there? It doesn't make sense. We all saw it coming.
Yeah.
Did you see the final play of the Saints-Falcons game or close to the end?
Yeah, I saw I saw the replays. I didn't watch the game. I saw the replays.
Yeah. I wasn't sure why he was mad because I didn't catch it live. I was probably playing with something on my phone or whatever whenever that one went off. And I thought that he was mad that they were running up the score. And I was like, oh, well, learn how to coach better. But then I saw the play that happened. I'm like, okay, I get why you're mad. Like, there's literally, they need the ball one more time and the game is over and the season is over and they're up by like 30 points or whatever it was at that point. And freaking Jameis Winston.
We overrode him.
I'm going to do whatever I want. We're going to eat a W right here, you know?
Oh, crab legs.
I've seen a lot of mixed emotions. I'm going to deviate from this coaching thing real quick. What are your thoughts? if you are the Saints organization, are you A, getting rid of the coach Dennis Allen for losing control of the team, or are you cutting Jameis Winston, or both, or neither? What are you doing there if you're the Saints owner looking at your season? You missed the playoffs. You should have won the NFC South, and I feel like that was just kind of like a perfect way for them to end their disappointing season.
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, you always want to, I guess, put the blame on the coach because yes, they are the like authority figure as far as like the team go, like the personnel. Um, but at the same time, like the personalities of some of these people that are like in these locker rooms, like they can create turmoil from like a mutiny from the inside. So it's like, whose fault is the him losing the team? Really, is it him or was it them like pushing back? Like
Yeah,
if Jameis is going to have that kind of comment post game, like still in pads, basically, like they don't care, bro. Like what happened? But again, I'm sitting here not in the front office somewhere.
yeah. I feel like I would get rid of both of them at that point. You're not
Yeah,
going to
that's
win
probably the
fifth
safest
round.
bet. Yeah.
And then Jameis Winston, that's just not the professional mentality that you want. But then again, they knew what they were getting when they got Jameis. This is the guy sucking on his fingers, talking about eating a W. So,
God,
yeah.
it gives me chills
No,
every time
I'll
I
never
see it. I'm
forget
like,
that
oof.
picture of I'll never forget that picture of just John Jackson in the background. Like, oh, like why did I sign here? What did I get myself into?
Yeah, I wanted palm trees, and I'm looking at this motherfucker.
Man, this guy's sucking on his fingers right now, talking about eating a W. Like, what?
It's like there's more pick six at least. Like it's like a contract incentive, bro. Like what's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah, right. Wrong team. One that was a little bit more of a surprise firing Mike Vrabel in Tennessee.
I don't think that was really like a firing. I think he was like, look, I would like to go to New England. Bill's gone. I'd like to go somewhere I'm comfortable. And they're like, all right, see you.
You think so? You think he chose to step down rather than?
I think so because I think Derrick Henry's going to leave.
Yeah. Oh, after his post game speech, did you see that?
Yeah, yeah. I thought that even before the last few games of the season, like it just he would be better somewhere else, obviously.
Yeah,
They
this
have
one.
no real good quarterback. Like Tannehill is probably going to be gone. Whatever the Malik, was it Malik Willis is his name?
Yeah, Malik Willis, and then
Not very good. He's very inconsistent. Has like very brief moments of like, hey, and then it's like, oh, you fucked it up.
yeah,
And then old
yeah,
boy,
Will Levis.
yeah, Will Levis, like he has an arm, but like Vrabel's not really like a quarterback guy, right? More like a
Yeah.
defensive minded guy.
Yep.
So like he's not going to develop a quarterback, you know.
Yeah.
See you
I feel like
later.
they need. I feel like they need an offensive-minded coach. Whenever you have a young quarterback, I feel like you need an offensive-minded coach. And
Especially
then when
someone
you
who's
have a
raw
veteran,
like that. Like that dude can be
yeah,
molded. That dude can be really molded.
yeah. And then when you have like a veteran quarterback, that's when you bring in your more defensive-minded coaches. Like you and the offensive coordinator, go make your plan.
Yeah.
Y'all got it down. I'm gonna just go over here and take care of the defense.
Yeah. Exactly. You do all your bells and whistles. I'll lock it down.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go win the championship with the defense right now. I saw in Seattle, Pete Carroll.
Yeah. 14 years. See you.
That was surprising that he's doing the Bruce Arians type thing. He is done with coaching, but still going to be involved somehow.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know what that means.
yeah,
Is it
he's
more of a
staying on as an
champion?
advisor according
Yeah,
to this replay that I'm watching on mute. But I don't know. Like, it might be bored, and like, obviously, like there's like turmoil of some kind. But
yeah,
like Russell Wilson, obviously leaving there, like that seemed like why would he ever leave? But like now, obviously, for him being there makes sense. But maybe he's like in his 70s. Maybe he's too old for like
yeah.
this team. You know?
That's what I was thinking. It's like maybe just at 70, whatever he is right now. Maybe he's just kind of like I don't know that I want to do the day to day grind of being a coach at this point. But
Yeah.
I was talking with earlier today when I got home. I was talking with Turnell,
Mm.
We were messaging about some of these coaching vacancies. He said he thought he saw something that Pete Carroll still wanted to keep coaching, though. I haven't got to look into that.
It's I think I know what clip he might be talking about. It talks about his interest in still wanting to be a coach, but not.
Yeah,
That's like very vague, very ambiguous. But nothing. I think he'd be a good GM just based off of his college recruiting experience. I think
yeah,
that would probably be a good quality to have going into player like scouting and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. If he's kind of like helping with the GM, draft consultant,
Hmm.
whatever. Yeah, I think that would be a good fit for him if he's wanting to do that. You know, if he was truly wanting, if
Yeah,
he did want to step away, this is a mutual thing, and he still wants to help out. I would see that would be a good role for him.
he might just be taking the year too. Like maybe this batch of open availability isn't for him. You know, the one I would think would maybe be he would be interested in if possible would be the Chargers if he could maybe uh show a little leg and get some interest over there because California, cool. It's where he won a national championship. Like makes
Yeah,
sense.
keeps him on the West Coast.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the next one I was going to get to was the Chargers. And yeah, I could see if Pete Carroll, if this was not a mutual thing, like they were making it sound, and maybe he still wants to coach. I hear a lot of like a mixed bag of is this like the top spot, like the most desirable coaching position right now?
I'd
And I hear a mixed bag because I mean, you've got Justin Herbert. I don't know where the receivers are at in their contract. Eckler had a really down year now, but he's still a good player. But also, where are they at in the salary cap right now? I think is the big question, and that might be like the team might need to blow up a bit right now.
Yep, and that's exactly what I was about to read. It says they have a myriad of injuries and projected to be about 35 million over the salary cap.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's.
pretty substantial.
I don't know who they've got all of their money wrapped up in.
Keenan
I
Allen.
imagine, yeah,
Probably. I would imagine that dude gets hefty
it's a lot.
cash.
Yeah,
What he
well,
deserves it.
yeah.
He's super good.
Maybe it's time for them to part ways with him and look for a new, younger
They also
receiver
have
out
they
of
also
there.
have Khalil Mack. I'm sure his price tag is pretty hefty as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. But Chargers, speaking of, they had to get rid of their coach because he was another one just like the Falcons coach, where it was just kind of like you're watching this and you're like, yes, we are just sitting on our couch right now, but like we can see that this isn't working.
Yeah, ask Madden
It's,
picks better plays, bro.
yeah, and I felt like I was really surprised that he was still the coach this year
Yeah.
after that whole final week 18 debacle against the Raiders last year. Literally do nothing and make it to the playoffs, and you somehow failed. Do
Yeah.
nothing. Just just stand around.
we've definitely been big proponents of him being fired because I think we have like 4 or 5 episodes where he mentioned it would be nice if he got fired.
Yeah. He's been number one all year, I think, on a lot of people's list. And I think it's because we look at all the talent that's on that team, and it's like frustrating to see them be a team that just never makes the playoffs. And especially again last year, don't call a timeout and you make the playoffs.
What got always the
And you
burn?
failed. Yeah, let's just go ahead. I want to go ahead and use this. I heard I can't bring it to the playoffs with me, so I'm going to use it now. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the logic was there. I've never heard an interview from him why he did that. It made
He probably just fucked up and doesn't own up to it.
yeah.
Timeout.
Next, I have this one. I was expecting Washington.
Oh yeah,
Um,
too
I
easy.
mean, you have the new owners. They need to completely overhaul that franchise. The coach Ron Rivera, he was good. I wonder if he's just one of these coaches that like he was good back in the day, but like maybe the NFL has it changed too much? Is he able to adapt with it, or is he kind of like still playing that 2000s
I
style of football and it's just not working anymore?
I think he was only successful because he had Cam Newton and he understood that if I simplify Cam Newton's playbook and make it, A, B, and C instead of A dash 1 through 45,000, B,
Yeah,
like all these plays are, because that's what I remember of his like halfway through his rookie year is like how does he perform so well? And they're talking about how simple his playbook is, like how he has to learn it and call it. Like it just made it super easy for him, so he didn't have to overcomplicate it. And I think that's just he just can't keep up to like these over technical defensive of adjustments and offensive adjustments on the opposing teams. I just don't think he has it. I don't think he can keep up. But
No.
they have apparently the most cap space with $78 million in cap space, the number 2 overall pick, and a very good offensive coordinator that likely should be their head coach.
Yeah, that's what I saw. They're already bringing some people in for interviews.
You have to.
Like, but like, what does that guy have to do now at this point? Because didn't they look all right offensively? Like, didn't their quarterback do pretty good in passing yards and some other things? And like, what else does this guy have to do to get a shot? Like the people, I don't even remember who they were bringing in for an interview, but I'm like, who is this?
I think he just has to have complete control because obviously he can be an offensive coordinator, but he doesn't have the final call on the play most of the time. He has to look at Andy Reid. He has to look at Ron Rivera. He's like, hey, I want to run this in this position and in this situation. Let's do this. Oh, look, we have to punt. Great.
Like, you know what though? If I'm Washington, I watched everything he did. He helped to develop Patrick Mahomes. I thought their quarterbacks looked better this year.
Sam Howell did all right for a rookie.
Yeah,
not too bad.
Let me ask you this: what do they have to lose? Like, it's not like your team is going to be. It's the difference of the playoffs or not. Like, if you pick the wrong coach this year, oh well, there goes your playoff hopes. Like, you're probably a little bit out. Why don't you see while you have him under contract? Let's see what he's got. Give him 2 to 3 years as you are in the middle of rebuilding your team anyways and your whole organization. Why not give this man a shot?
They should,
because what if he was this offensive guru and you have him there? And what if he leaves you and then goes somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize you had him there and you let him slip. I get why the Chiefs didn't do it because they weren't going to replace Andy Reid. Andy Reid's too good. You don't replace Andy Reid.
Yeah.
But and they also wanted to let him go so he could get another chance somewhere else.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they let him go is because I knew he would be a great head coach, and leaving him there was a travesty, and they knew that.
Yeah.
But I think what the Commander should do is just immediately like, hey, Bieniemy, you're up. All we're going to do is focus on is offensive and defensive coordinators. Top tier. The best we can get while we can get them. You know, and then you have a loaded offense. Maybe use your number 2 overall pick on defense. Probably where you really need to go with that team. I mean, they're not terrible by any means on defensively, but shore it up.
Remember, they got rid of their 2 top defensive linemen.
Yeah, just shore it up now. Like,
yeah, between Chase Young and Montez Sweat, they got rid of both of them. So maybe they need someone on that side. Or if you don't think Sam Howell's the guy, and you think one of these guys coming out is your franchise quarterback, there you go. You're in a spot to go get them. You can have your pick of almost anyone in the draft.
And you can sign a shitload of people for $70 million with cap space.
Yep. Make it, do something, shake things up. Hey, a culture change is coming. And while they're changing things, I hope this new organization builds them a new stadium because that is, bottom 3 stadiums in all of sports?
Yeah, all of sports. And we have our baseball field is one of those bottom 3. We know what shit looks like. Don't worry.
I put the Coliseum, Oakland Athletics, is the worst in baseball.
Yeah, for sure.
When you have Washington is the worst in football. And I don't know, maybe our Rays are right there with them. Although, I don't know. It's not a great stadium, but sometimes it's made to be a little worse than
it's not built for baseball by any means.
Yeah,
it's built for
it wasn't.
Arena football.
Arena football and indoor activity. It wasn't built for a baseball stadium. I will say the additions they've made to that stadium are better. It's just always because of the catwalk and the white ceiling. It's always going to be shit on by everybody. It's never going to get a break.
At least the stadium doesn't shit on you like the Commander Stadium does, you know?
Exactly. I've seen all the water where it's leaking, the guardrails that fall over as people are leaning on them. Like, that stadium just needs to be demolished. Is there like a college stadium they can play at for like 2 years or something while they build a new stadium? Just knock that one over and
I
build a
mean,
new one.
yeah, there's a lot of big college. I mean, I don't know how close to. Well, they're in Arlington, Virginia, is where the Commanders are. I mean, yeah, there's. I mean,
There's some people around there. Maybe go
yeah,
borrow a stadium for a year or two. Who else did? Didn't like Minnesota had to do that when their stadium collapsed. They had to go to University of Minnesota for like 2 years.
yeah. Saints played at Tulane.
Yeah, there you go. Go somewhere else, knock that one over, start fresh.
Mm.
Just really do everything all over again. The one that wasn't surprising, another non-surprising one, Carolina.
Oh yeah, poor Frank Reich. He's not terrible, but I mean,
Yeah,
what a
well,
terrible
that
team.
owner.
Yeah,
I wonder now if that owner is now considered the new worst owner in football. Now that Dan Snyder is out in Washington, this
yeah. He
guy.
passed the torch immediately. Let's keep this on the NFC.
Yeah, exactly. There's that video that came out of him throwing drinks on the
Yeah,
fans.
$300,000 drink. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Although for him, that's like if we had to pay like a $3 fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be if we threw a drink at us and then we got written a ticket by the police and here, pay $3, whatever. I'll give you six and I'm going to go back and throw another one.
Yeah, I was about to say I would just pour another one. Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, there you go. Here's $6. That job, that job probably looks like, I feel like, the worst available opening is Carolina, between the team that has like they have nothing there. There's no stars. You got rid of Christian McCaffrey. You got rid of DJ Moore. Quarterback, it looks like you picked the wrong guy. Like, just what do they have going for them?
You
There's
know,
like nothing that looks appealing.
that's another crazy thing I think about because I live in North Carolina. Obviously, I'm wearing this hat from Davidson, North Carolina, north of Charlotte. Um, and I don't think about it often because we don't have to deal with it living in Florida. But when teams go to tax heavy states like North Carolina, they tax the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like imagine going there, imagine playing like here in the Bucks, and then you make 10 million a year, right? Doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're in Carolina and you're getting like fucking like a 30-year check taken away. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to go here. I'm not resigning here. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's always an advantage that the Florida teams have in attracting people as well. If I'm going to go to that other place, they have to sign me on for a lot more
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're going to pay out taxes. So it gives a competitive advantage. So you would think the Florida teams should be the best teams in football: Jacksonville, Miami,
I
and the
mean,
Bucks.
on
That
every
should be
level,
the
on every level except professionally, I would say Florida is 1, 2, or 3 at any given year. But professionally, unfortunately,
yeah,
people get to choose where they go.
yeah. And then the last vacancy that I feel like this is another one of those cases I don't understand. Is it not allowed, or do people just feel the need to go through some process? Las Vegas, there should not be an opening in Las Vegas. That job should already have been wrapped up. Like, are they allowed to sign a coach in the middle of the year? Is there some ban against that? Because if there's not, I don't know why he wasn't signed after like 3 games.
So I think it has something to do, again, we mentioned earlier, the collective bargaining agreement. I think there's some kind of clause or stipulation to where they, at any point, like if they're an interim coach, they cannot be signed as a head coach until the following season, some shit like that. Because I've seen it so many times where like the interim coach, like that dude's gonna be the coach next year. He is.
Yeah.
So it's and Pierce, he's gonna get none of these wins, right? He's gonna, if they sign him as the coach next year, he is goose and goose. Like none of that.
Yeah, there's no go on his record.
Yeah, he's an interim coach. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the win loss. It doesn't matter how big those wins were. The only thing that'd be funny is if he was an interim coach and they made it to the playoffs and he won a Super Bowl. That would be hilarious because then he'd technically have no stats, but still a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. See, and with any other franchise, I would say probably it's a pretty good lock to take that next step. But the Chargers a few years ago, I cannot remember the guy's name. They had an interim coach that came in and did the same thing as Antonio Pierce. He revitalized the team, got them up and playing. And this wasn't that long ago. This was like the
3 or
coach
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we're all like, oh yeah, that's a lock. No conversation there. He's going to be the next head coach. And then they went out and hired that other guy who didn't make it. And now here we are again talking about they have an interim coach.
Yeah,
And
I remember. And then yeah.
like you got your guy right there. I don't know if you have to interview people, but I always find that like I feel like if you have an interim coach and they do really well, and that's your guy, like 100%, that's your guy. You should be able to bypass any of the coaching rules, the hiring rules. If you're saying this guy was an interim coach, he's officially labeled interim coach this year. Hey, NFL, we've just decided we want to bring him on as coach. I don't, just out of like a courtesy and a respect, like don't even fly other people in
So
if you know you've already got your guy. Like
so
don't waste their time.
so I think with the rule they would have to like look into is like a big one, which is the Rooney Rule, which is like one minority coach has to be interviewed.
Yes.
So it's like let's say the coach is white, right? And they hire him. He's an interim coach. And they hire him right off the bat. No other interviews. They would then violate the Rooney Rule, and the team would be fined heavily.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm saying I think that should be a change to the rule that if you have an interim coach take over, that's
Already like
somebody.
in the
Now, granted,
system, kind of shit.
that's someone,
Yeah.
and it has to be someone that was already within your
Yeah,
organization.
at the beginning of the year.
Yes. So, like, you can't go, like, someone can't in the middle, like, week, 14 next year, go say, oh, we're firing our coach, and we just officially named Pete Carroll our interim head coach. And next year, oh, he's our coach. Like, no, if you promoted someone from within, and they made the interim, that was who you chose. And then the following year, you want to make them, you should just bypass it. You should be allowed to do that. I think
Yeah.
that would be the exception. No problem with the Rooney Rule, but if you already have your guy there and he's earned the spot and you can promote from within, I think you should be able to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
So
NFL's weird. They want you to
yeah,
jump through hoops.
yeah. The only thing I don't like about the Rooney Rule is when they bring people out to fulfill what they have to fulfill
Yeah,
when
like
they
like
know
make a mockery of the people, like anyone really. Like, oh, we
that
have to have
that
you here. Like, the
that
fuck you
that
mean?
was
You get to
yeah.
have me here. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
and they just like they bring them out. I've heard a couple coaching candidates. They say, "Oh, I could tell in the middle of that I was here because of the Rooney. I wasn't here because they saw me as a viable candidate,
Yeah,
and I just wasted time. My time when I could have been. What if
at
I
a real
missed a
interview.
different? Yeah, what if there was another interview somewhere else? Maybe it's not with an NFL team. Maybe it's a college team, and maybe I said, "Oh, I got an interview, and I got to pick this team or that team." Okay, well, I'm going to go with this one. And then I get there and realize this was a fake interview. So, like, I get what they're trying to accomplish, but I feel like, the owners are still going to do what they're going to do. And I hate to see it whenever people they're being brought
But
out.
yeah, better candidates, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to move on to I guess, some good stuff, some better stuff. We're going to talk our Pro Bowl picks. The list came out since we last did a show. There was a couple of notable snubs, most notably my boy from my team, Antoine Winfield. He got snubbed for sure, should be the top safety probably in both teams, but he didn't get picked. But we're going to be we're just going to make it easy. We're going to look at the offensive guys and the skill players at that. We're not diving all the way into offensive linemen. So we will start on the NFC side. Going to look at quarterbacks. You have the list up of
I'm trying to
who
pull.
actually
I'm pulling up the.
made
I'm
it.
trying to pull up the NFC one. I have the AFC one. I did realize they weren't connected together, which is
That would make too much sense if they were both on the same page.
yeah. It's like I just NFL. I just want me to look at another page so they can get
Another hit.
interaction on another page. Shit. Damn it, Bobby. Oh, all right. I'll also have to Google it. Just go ahead. I'll have to just Google it real quick.
All right. So for my NFC quarterbacks, I put Brock Purdy, and this is in no particular order, not 1 to 3, whatever. But I did Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Jalen Hurts. Those are my three. I know there's a little bit of, I guess, controversy or people that would argue against Jalen Hurts. He had higher interception total this year. Yes, he did. But I think what he did, those quarterback sneaks, man, I think that was such a valuable part of their team this year that made them unstoppable when they were winning games. And like, and we've seen that other quarterbacks have tried to do that, and it doesn't work nearly the same. So, like, you had to have him for that. So that's who I have for my top three quarterback picks. Who did you have on your side for your NFC quarterbacks?
Brock Purdy for sure. I mean, I would say Dak Prescott as well because yes, half of his games at home they were looking pretty solid. Yet they did shit the bed a couple times, but every team really does. But as far as quarterback performance, yeah, he belongs there. As for Matt Stafford, I didn't think at all. I think Jared Goff should definitely at least be in that position.
Yeah.
Because he's done great and he looks good and has been pretty decent. Like you said, bad games. Everyone has bad games, but again, solid quarterback. But I don't think. Again, I have nothing against Matt Stafford, but he was like injured for like a good portion of the season. Was he not?
Yeah, I think it's just they went on this late run. People were thinking about this back half of the year.
Yeah,
I don't know. Again, it could be just a familiar name for people. People know his name a little more than they know Jared Goff.
Yeah, it's not as sexy. He doesn't have a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how we got in. NFC running backs. You have the list pulled up now on the roster.
Yep.
So who made it for the NFC running backs?
Who made it?
Who made it?
We got Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift, and Kieran Williams, the Los Angeles Rams running back.
Mm-hmm. So for mine, I agree with 2 out of 3 of those again, CMC and Kieran Williams.
Yep.
Those two make a lot of sense.
Yes, they do.
DeAndre Swift, I don't get that one. It's another one I think maybe, is it a familiar name or is it something else?
Well, he does have the 5th most rushing yards in the league. In the league.
Well, I went with, and this is not to be a homer pick, but I went with Rachaad White because I thought Rachaad White was just super valuable. Yeah, he doesn't have as much rushing yards, but like look at his total yards. I think he's a big part of what kept that offense moving. What have they been lacking? They've been lacking a good running back for years, and I think he's the best one they've had in a while. I would give the nod to him over DeAndre Swift.
Let's see. I'm looking here. I'm just looking at like their down the line stats. I mean, he has 2 more turnovers, and then let's see here.
Swift or
White, Rachaad White.
Okay.
And then, he has 70 more rushing yards, about the same touchdowns, about the same everything else for the most part. Yeah.
What about on the receiving end though? Does it show receptions and yards with what you're looking at there?
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Well, it's just going to receivers instead. So hang on, let me just go back. Let's see, DeAndre. Let's see, regular season. It's only giving, here we go. Receiving. See all. He had 214 yards receiving on 39 catches in 1 TUD.
That's DeAndre.
That's DeAndre Swift. Whereas, where's White at?
This is where I think he separates from DeAndre.
Then we'll go down. We'll go receiving. See all. And then he has a 549 yards receiving on 64 catches with 3 TUDs.
Yeah.
Definitely a big standout.
That's the side where I think he stands out, where I would put him ahead because he was a little more involved in the offense.
Yeah, way more versatile.
So who are your running backs?
Let me go back to the list here. Chris McCaffrey. Easy peasy. I would also again say Kieran Williams for no one would have thought that dude would have been there, but again, he's he was up there. I think he had like the 3rd most rushing yards.
Yeah, I think he missed some time too.
Yeah, because they had like a carousel at some point. I do remember. Pull Like, oh yeah, here we go. And then, I mean, like, why not David Montgomery?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean the lines look great. Like they're banging on all cylinders. Like I could care less about like DeAndre Swift. Like he's good. Don't get me wrong, but
hmm I just don't know that he's.
from my understanding, he's not the best like catching back.
Yeah, and that's why I gave the edge to
Yeah,
Rashad White in
yeah,
my voting here.
yeah.
So, receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Who made it through for the NFC? Who do they have listed? Because it's only like 3,
4.
4.
Yep. So they got CeeDee Lamb,
Okay.
AJ Brown, Mike
Yep.
Evans, and
Yep.
Puka Nakua.
Okay. So again, I agree with all but one. So I would take that list: CeeDee Lamb, Puka, Mike Evans, and AJ Brown, and I would drop AJ Brown, and I would replace him with Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions.
I would say the exact same thing. I really would.
Yeah, I feel like he had a little bit better. Like it was close.
He did have. He did have.
Close.
I would say AJ Brown had 106 catches for 1456 and 7 tuds. Amon-Ra had 119 catches for 1515 yards and 10 tuds.
So a little lower on the touchdown side, but higher on the catches, the receiving yards. And
higher all around.
But what was AJ Brown's?
AJ Brown had less receptions. He had 106 to Amon-Ra's 119. He had 1,456 yards to Amon-Ra's 1,515, and he had 7 tuds to Amon-Ra's 10.
7. Okay, 7. That was part of the miss. Okay, so yeah, it should have been St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
And he also has one more turnover.
Yeah. There you go. And then for tight end on the NFC side, who do they have? Who made it through?
They have George Kittle and Sam Laporta.
Okay, so they only had 2 picks.
Yes.
I thought it was 3. So I would right now for my Pro Bowl, as it sits today. Now I made this list as it sits today. I have George Kittle and Trey McBride, but that's only because Sam Laporta and TJ Hawkinson are both hurt, so they're not going to make it, and that's why I'm picking as of today. If we rule out injuries, it's Laporta and TJ Hawkinson all day, but both of the top 2 NFC tight ends are out, so I would think George Kittle, Trey McBride.
Yeah, that's really the only. I mean, the furthest reach you could go after that would be Jake Ferguson on the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys, yeah, which he did pretty good, but
yeah, but they have 2 good tight ends, right? They don't have like the tight end, because they still got they also Schoonmaker. So,
yep. All right, so then we'll switch over to the AFC side.
Okay.
For the quarterbacks, who made it through?
You got your Tuas, you got your Lamar Jacksons, you got your Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so it seems to be a theme here. I agree with all but one. So you said we got Mahomes, Jackson, Tua. I would go Mahomes, Jackson, Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean that would be statistically that would make the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I just Tua when he's been. And I wonder too with Tua, man, I feel bad for the guy. Like I want to root for him, but like I wonder sometimes though, how many times are his stats maybe being padded a little bit by, and you could maybe make the same argument for Brock Purdy, but like how many times is he just dropping it off to Tyreek Hill, and then Tyreek is making something happen, charging down the field, and there's just games though where Tua just looks really bad. And I know because I watched him closely because he was on my fantasy team. So he's one of these guys I watched a little closer than the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So give me Josh Allen over Tua. Who do you have going through?
I have your Lamar Jacksons. I have your Patrick Mahomes. And then I have CJ Stroud.
CJ, I was considering him as well.
He's much better than Josh Allen.
I was considering he's been a better passer, but Josh Allen, kind of for the same reason I picked Jalen Hurts. He's a dual threat quarterback.
I mean, so is CJ Stroud. He's just not as comfortable on his feet as Josh Allen is because he's bigger and he can just like manhandle people. But he has. Exactly. I'm just going to go down the line here between the two, right? He has. Let's look at completion percentage, right? His is 66.5. So he does have CJ here. CJ is 63.9, but he's also a rookie.
Yeah.
Josh Allen has 4,300 passing yards. CJ Stroud has 4,100 passing yards. Josh Allen's average per pass 7.4, where CJ is 8.2. Yards per game, Josh Allen is 253.3. CJ Stroud is 273.9. TUDs, Josh Allen has 29. CJ Stroud has 23. Interceptions, Josh Allen has 18. CJ Stroud has 5.
Yep, he was really good with that this year. I would listen for that third. Again, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Holmes. I was struggling between Josh Allen and CJ Stroud. I would be fine with either being the ones to make the list.
And CJ Stroud did this while being sacked 14 more times.
Yeah.
Worst offensive line, comparable stats, if not better.
But I think we both agree Tua would be about 5th or 6th down the line.
Yeah, sorry, Tua. So you really shouldn't even be on the field, honestly.
Yeah.
Nothing against your skill. It's just your brain's going to turn to goo.
Yeah. Running backs. Who made it through for running backs?
You got Raheem Mostert, James Cook, and King Henry.
Okay. So I had forgot about Mostert. So I'm going to actually change. I'm going to add him in. So my 3 that I'm going to have, I'm going to put Breece Hall, Raheem Mostert, and King Henry. And I just dropped Joe Mixon off my list. He was kind of on there.
Barely.
Because I somehow forgot about Mostert.
Yeah, I would have to say, King Henry, James Cook, and Raheem Mostert. The only other person probably I would also kind of close would say Travis Etienne.
Yeah. No love for Breece Hall?
I mean,
no love for Breece Lightning?
He didn't break 1,000 yards. He's the closest to not break 1,000 yards. Just ahead of him was Travis Etienne with 1,008.
Yeah.
You know, I think, like, again, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But I think Travis Etienne is a little bit more of a sturdy back.
Okay. And then AFC wide receivers, who made the Pro Bowl?
Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase.
Really? Jamar Chase? Well, how was his year, though? I feel like he had an up and down.
Jamar Chase had 100 receptions for 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Okay. I had Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, and Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
Just thought he was around a little more. They had a little bit better season. I was thinking more Stephon Diggs. I was thinking Jamar Chase was a little up and down with all the quarterback changes.
I have Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, and Nico Collins.
He was on the fringe for me. He was right there.
Go Blue. Yeah, he was a hefty boy towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. And then AFC tight ends.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't change these. Travis Kelce and David Njoku.
Okay, yeah, because we only get 2 over there. So, yep, that's what I had. That's the only thing I think I agree with fully. Kelce and Njoku for sure.
The only one you could throw in there close enough would be Evan Ingram.
Yeah, he was the one I had as a third one. I thought we were picking 3, but then I realized we only get 2. He's first off my list.
Nope.
So, yeah, pretty close. But, I mean, as always, like we were talking about before the show, really don't worry about getting snubbed for the Pro Bowl. look for the All Pro honors because that's the one that's truly based off how you did and not a popularity contest.
Yeah.
So that wraps it up for the show this week. Super excited for the playoff games that we have coming up. I know I will be watching Saturday, both games, Sunday, all three, especially Monday night now.
Yeah.
But before we go, this is your time. I saved this part of the show for you. Your boys did it on Monday. Close us out with your final thoughts on the national championship game.
So obviously, I'll have to get an updated banner behind me. Granted, this isn't our only one; it's one of 12. So I'll have to get a more updated one. I'm super pumped. Obviously, I've been a Michigan fan since like 1996. The end of '96. Because I remember when the Gators won the national championship, and you were all super pumped. I'm like, I'm gonna have my own goddamn team. I don't care about the Gators. I don't care about the Seminoles. I'm tired of hearing about it. Charles Woodson was my favorite player. Tom Brady. Super pumped. All those years of just playing, looking like shit. Everyone said we sucked. Everyone said we cheated. It's looking like Ohio State was the ones, which is hilarious to me. Super great. The game made me nervous as shit. We didn't really look like a team until about halfway through that third quarter. And then really into the fourth, it was like, all right, we got it together. I hope Harbaugh stays, obviously. But it's hard to really like quantify my feelings because I'm like, it's like the happiest sports moment I could have, other than I think the next best thing would be the Rays winning a World Series, because I don't know if the Browns will ever get there, right? But I care more about the Rays at this time, at this point in my life. But yeah, dude, and then the one final thing, we retired Nick Saban. His last game, a big ol' L to the blue.
That's true. That's true. We didn't talk about that in the coaching section. Another shocker right before the show is that Nick Saban announces he is done. He is retired. Good for him.
Yeah, dude.
He has nothing left to prove.
The GOAT, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, your boys got it done. I know you were nervous. I really went into that game pretty confident Michigan was going to win. I said it last week on the show. It's been 26 years. So that's your lucky number. So that's when they were going to do it. You were going to have to wait 26 years, and in 26 more years, maybe we'll be talking about the next one. 26 to go. So put it on your calendar.
Like I said a couple of episodes ago, like, I don't care about a dynasty. I don't care about trying to back-to-back. I am very happy with having one as an adult that I can like really, really savor. I can buy all the merch. I can be a dick for another few months,
How much of the merch have you purchased already?
None yet. It's so funny because as soon as the game ended, I went on to CFP shop. I tried to order a hat and just like a long sleeve shirt, out of stock. I'm like, it just ended.
Yeah. Well, y'all have all been waiting 26 years to get some new shirts.
So I'm gonna wait. It'll be there. I want to make sure I get what I want.
Yeah. There's some stuff on Fanatics. You can grab some stuff off there.
I gotta support the M Den. Hopefully one day they'll sponsor me, but gotta support the M Den. Yeah, there was a GIF. I meant to tag you in it, but it showed because since we talked about the M Den last episode, it showed the M Den CEO right now. It's that GIF of Vince McMahon smelling all that money.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm sure they're making lots of money.
Oh, buku bucks, dude. Yeah, buku bucks for sure.
All right, that will do it for this week. And for anyone that stuck around this long, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys again next week.
See y'all.